So let's be serious a bit. We have to identify what is our truth and what is our future and what can we do. That's a choice we need to make. So our reality is very, very simple. We have a lot of people coming into this world. 8.2 or 8.5 billion people, whatever it is today, is a lot of people. And if 1% of them choose to have children, 8 billion people is 80 million at 1% new babies in the world over deaths. So that's every year, and it's more than that. And it doesn't matter what they tell you, because we're talking world population, not just a particular country. And you're talking, they think they can say that by 2050 we'll be 10 billion people. Well, we won't, because there's not enough food, there's not enough water, there's not enough space, there's not enough anything, including resources. And 2050 is not that far away. Practically only 20 years. You 21-year-old, well, that's how much time you have. And of course you don't have that much, because if you go past the point of no return and you have no clue about what you're doing and you refuse to prepare for a future that you cannot survive, then you will not survive it. It's going to be extinction. And of course we have endless amounts of things that will cause us to be extinct right now. And again, it's trying to light the same fire here as is on the sun. 1 second too late and the world is dead. 1 second too late and the world is dead. And of course they're mutilating all of nature, which means that everything that you depend upon, your eyes, your face, your everything can be completely thrown into chaos. They're deliberately trying to inject chaos into nature to make it break down, so they can say, well, if I put in this, we're going to get this. That's what they're doing, and that's what they want to do, because in the end they figure they're going to learn something about which of these genetic keys are supposed to do that. And of course the end result is going to be that nature itself is dead, because they can't put back what they destroy. And there's not so much life that that disease cannot spread, and pandemics, can form, and like AIDS, take over the entire world. And you say, well, they found something for that. Well, they didn't really find a cure. They just found something to stop it a little bit. But anyway, that doesn't matter, because the end result is we're going to have too many people and too little resources to make everybody happy. And if we have too many people, that makes the price of everything go down, or the price of everything go up, but the amount of money that you can make for your wage will go down, because there are too many people to fill the gap that work is. So the future is really quite poor, and the resources are just in your garbage mountains, and the water will not provide for you. I mean, there's poison everywhere throughout everywhere in the water resources, and you need to investigate and look at the EPA results of how many toxins have they been throwing away. And you can believe them or you cannot believe them, but once I started using any of their information, the information disappeared. Just like once you started using COVID statistically to prove what they were doing, that information disappeared. Once you start doing, once I using the statistical analysis of the United States to prove that the money is trash, that disappeared. That's just what they do, because the end result is that there aren't actually a lot of choices. Not a lot of good choices. You want what you want, and we want, and of course that means that if you get what you want, you're happy, and if you're not happy, then you're in the streets yelling and screaming and burning things down, like the people out in California and so on, and burning it down because somebody's unhappy, so they have a match. But the end result of that, of course, is that nobody gets to be happy, and that's exactly what hate wants. Nobody gets to be happy. So you need to find and separate hate. It's as simple as that, because you cannot create a society that works if you have too much hate. That's how that is. So if united we stand means we trust each other, we trust the society, we trust something. That's what family is about. That's what united is about. If you don't trust anybody, then you become completely isolated societally. Everybody is, families dissolve and everybody stands to the side and just says, it's just me against the world. And of course that will not do. You can't have that, because if we don't walk together from here on out, we're not going to walk at all. We're just going to go extinct. And of course people say the world hasn't changed. Nothing's going to happen. You can't prove that. But of course, humanity has overpopulated the world. Scientists have genetic information and computers that allow them to do things that they never could before. They have poisons and pollution that we've never had before. We have a world that is globally warming that we've never had before. We have, oxygen is a finite resource, and few people understand that. But take a look at all the cars and all the, a gallon of gas. It needs about the same amount of oxygen that 30 people require to breathe for 24 hours a day. So add it up. And you say, wow, that can't be right. But it can be right. Go look it up. Stop believing what you want to believe and go look it up. Go investigate. Go experiment for yourself. Go and do it. Quit laying on the couch. Quit screaming into your TV or whatever it is and demanding what you want instead of what's true. Truth decides. It is that simple. Truth decides. And if you don't want to do that, of course, you can go extinct instead. And of course there will be a lot of people that don't want to do that. And there will be a lot of people that will refuse to believe, no matter what you say, no matter what you can prove by the statistics or whatever it is, that they just won't believe, because that makes them guilty of not doing what they need to do for life itself. And they don't want to know. They don't want to know, because that means they're making a decision. They are the cause, they are the problem. And they don't want to know. They want to say, I am innocent. But of course they're not innocent, because every single person on the planet, when we have 8.2 billion plus people on the planet, every single one, it matters what you do, because that's what we do. There's so many of us that we stand on. There's supposedly, I think it's 3 billion acres of agricultural cropland and 4 billion acres of grazing land, something like that. And no, you can't plant grazing land to crops, because you don't have the water, you don't have the resources, you don't have the fertilizers, and they're running out. You don't have, the rain and so on. And the hills are just too steep, and if you cut all the trees down, then the atmosphere of the planet just loses its grip, and it becomes a laminated stream, and the atmosphere no longer goes with the planet, turns with the planet. And the planet turns at about 1,000 RPM at the equator. So that means that if you lost control of the atmosphere, if the planet loses control of the atmosphere is going to go 1,000 miles per hour, or maybe 700 miles per hour, like I think it's Venus supposedly goes. So, this is not simple. You have, ignored the realities of life and planet and truth and everything else, and living in the fantasies and the conclusions and the delusions of university knows, and they don't know anything. They're just former classmates. They're just former classmates. They aren't God. They aren't experts. They're not nothing but former classmates. And of course, what former classmate was a god? There wasn't one of them. And I'm sure there wasn't one of them in your school either. None. Absolutely none. Who among them would you have decided that you will allow to experiment on your body? And of course, there are none. But that's what they're doing. They're experimenting on all of life. They're trying to ignite a fire because they want what they want. And of course, to eliminate greenhouse gases, they want to create fusion fire. But fusion fire is atomic fire. And atomic fire cannot be controlled. It's 4 million times more. As an atomic bomb proves to you over TNT, it's a 4 million times more bigger bomb. That's a lot. They cannot you cannot extinguish it, and their only plan is that not enough gravity here, so we don't have to care. That's it. That's it. That's the total plan. And of course, you can be like you can look at the experiment called Biosphere 2, which was I think 8 people locked in a 7 million cubic foot planetarium, glass enclosure. So they thought, they were going to have just going to prove how we're going to run off to space and run to a different planet and what have you. In 2 months, that 2 million cubic feet of air went from 21% oxygen to 14% oxygen, and they broke their way out because they couldn't breathe anymore. They couldn't breathe anymore, so they broke their way out, and they had who knows, 100 different ideas for all the things that could go wrong, all kinds of plans, but not one plan for the oxygen running out. And there were no fires in there, none. Think a little bit about your own world and about all the people and about all the vehicles that are burning, all the power plants that are burning, all the heat that you release for wintertime, all of it. In other words, we're not going to. Oxygen is a finite element, and it's released by the planet. It's not made by the planet. It's an atom, and it's a chemical. Every element on the periodic table is an atom, an individual kind of atom, and the various types and shapes of the proton and how they are wrapped determines what the chemistry of that is. And of course, it really matters. Hydrogen, for instance, is able to combine with a lot of things because it creates a space. And the electrons interlace themselves into the spaces and things like that. But regardless of that, you have to understand that life on planet Earth has changed. We are so many people that we changed it. We are so many people who believe they can do whatever they want to do without consequences that we are facing extinction. We are so many people that are ready for war because you stole all my money. You gave me only numbers back instead. The resources are running out. I don't have any water. I want more. I want everything that somebody else has. Well, you have to have limited capitalism so that you can, divide it up as equally as possible and as fairly as possible. And no, everyone is not the same and everyone doesn't deserve the same, but we can work with that. And we can't work with the cost of everybody gets to be a damn billionaire or something. That is today. There is nothing about this world today, nothing about your leadership today that will survive the future. Nothing. I'm not looking for a job to replace them. I'm telling you that you have to change. It's not about leaders, it's about you. This United States of America is dissolving into a pile of shit because of you. You think about all the money you get or all the numbers you get from Wall Street. Well, guess what? It's free money, so you think everything is great. Well, it's free money for a reason. It's because you stole it from the future by using up resources that cannot be replaced. And that means that you're killing people in the future because the resources they had to have, a key resource of some sort that they absolutely require, the body absolutely requires, is gone. It's just gone. There is no more. It's like, going to the desert and you run out of water and there is no water. So you die. So, reality says that you either grow up and you wake up and you find a brain somewhere in the delusions of what university has taught you. Find a brain back somewhere in the myriad, endless, disgusting reality of media knows, media cares, media is this, media tells us everything. Media doesn't tell you nothing that you need to know, or damn little. A little bit where you're in there, but they're not telling you what they need to know because the powerful people own them, and powerful people don't want you to know a lot of things. The more stupid you are, the more control they have over you. So think about it. Try at least.